I'm sure everyone's excited to see what we have in store today. I'm going to take just a few minutes here at the beginning just to give a brief introduction, and then I'm going to hand it over to Dana Rice, our application engineer, who's over the infrastructure products from Autodesk, and she's going to spend some time talking about Autodesk Vehicle Tracking. So moving ahead. There we go. So real quick, most of you are probably aware of who we are and what we do, but just in case, my name again is Michael Sproles. I'm the Director of Sales here at TPM, and I'm out of our Charlotte office, but just so everyone's aware, we do actually have now 5 offices around the Carolinas, as you can see there at the bottom. We've got our original office in Greenville, South Carolina. That's still the headquarters and where we started. But we also have an office in Columbia where we've been for many years. Charlotte, of course, we've been active in the Charlotte market for quite some time. And then our 2 most recent offices, Charleston and Raleigh. So we picked those places strategically. So we are well placed to cover just about everybody in the Carolinas. We are actually now, in January, we've been in business for 43 years, having started in 1973 as a simple blueprint shop. We currently serve well over 3,000 customers across the Southeast, and we've got well over 90 employees across those 5 offices. And part of our goal is to partner with the best-in-class vendors, such as Autodesk, which you're here to see today, but we also partner with other vendors such as Faro, if you've heard anything about 3D laser scanning. 3D Systems is another one. On the 3D printing side, you know, we do sell a lot of large format printing equipment because, of course, all those nice designs that you guys create have to be printed at some point. So OSE, HP, Canon, and the likes, we're very well invested in those. So we can really handle your entire process from beginning to end, from design to output. We've got best-in-class solutions to bring to you. So a little bit about our involvement on the Autodesk side. We are an Autodesk Gold partner and have been so for over 25 years. There's not many people who can say that today. We are an authorized training center. We do train on just about all of the Autodesk products. We're also an authorized certification center. Not many people realize this, but you can actually get certified in many of the Autodesk products, primarily the big products. So AutoCAD, of course, Civil 3D, Revit, and a few other products. You can actually get a professional certification similar to what you've seen certifications in other fields like Microsoft and things like that. We are building an infrastructure specialized, which means we have met pretty exacting requirements from Autodesk to be able to say that we're specialized in those areas. So that means we have to do a number of things. One, we have to have the proper number of staff, both sales and technical, but more importantly, we have to show an expertise. So we have to pass quite a few certifications ourselves to be able to get that designation. And part of that is we have to have a team of application engineers to help support these products. So not just support, but the training, but more importantly, beyond that, in consulting, implementation, we've had a lot of success the past few years in helping customers redesign their workflow to become more efficient, be able to get more out of their products than what they do today. But our team of application engineers has over 60 years of experience, not only with the Autodesk products, but actually from the industry itself. So our guys are all plucked from industry. They've all been where you sit today. They've had to meet the deadlines and the pressure of getting things out the door. So they've actually, they've got real world experience, as well as the fact that they've spent a great amount of time becoming experts in the products that they support. So our job as a TPM, at TPM as an Autodesk partner is really to help you maximize your investment in your Autodesk solutions. So like we've already talked about, local support. Everything we do is local to the Carolinas. When you call us for support, you're not calling somebody in another state. You're getting people right here in your backyard. But our job is not only to help support you with these products, but to help you use these products to improve your collaboration. We know in the AEC world especially, your projects, you work with a lot of other people. Our job is to help you use these products to help win more work, to be able to integrate this software more efficiently in your workflows, to educate you on additional Autodesk solutions like we're doing today, and really help long-term planning as well, to help with budgeting, maximizing your portfolio. There's a lot of changes going on with Autodesk as we speak in terms of how they're approaching the market. So we've spent a lot of time the past 12 to 18 months working with our customers, helping them understand how those changes impact them, not from a use standpoint, just from a simple licensing standpoint. And to be able to plan even around things like license compliance, to make sure that you are properly compliant with your Autodesk software. We do not engage in software policing, but some of you may be aware that Autodesk does. So our job is to make sure that you're educated and you know what is compliant and what is not compliant. So that's part of our job as a partner to help you understand. If you have any questions about any of those things, that's certainly something we would be glad to help you with. So some of the things that we do, like I said, our customer design success path, we do support our customers with phone and email support. One of the things we've done recently, we talked about optimizing your workflows. We will sit down with you, would be happy to do what we call a business process assessment, or some people like to call it a health check. But look at how are you using the software today, and how could you be using that software tomorrow? Not to sell you more software, but to make sure that you're using it as efficiently as you can, to help you deploy, obviously training, advanced training, even very specific customized training. We do things like mentoring. We'll come on site, watch you over your shoulder, make sure you're using things correctly. We do offer CAD management services. And of course, again, we talked about optimizing your workflows. So just a sampling of some of the services that we offer as a partner to help you guys work better. And I think this is the last slide. You're going to have to hear me talk. We're going to hand it over to Dana here in a second. So basically, I've taken care of the TPM overview. We're going to get into a few things today. It's all going to be centered around Autodesk Vehicle Tracking. Dana's going to show you some things around, obviously, swept path analysis, things like parking lot geometry and roundabout quarter generation, which are some of the main pieces of Autodesk Vehicle Tracking. And there's going to be probably a few other things she's going to sprinkle in there as well. Real quick housekeeping. When you signed in, you have a little control panel that GoToMeeting puts up. In that control panel, towards the bottom, there is a questions box. I will be moderating that box during the webcast. Everybody is in a listen-only mode, so you can't verbally ask questions. But if you have a question during the presentation, go ahead and type it in there. It is not, you can type it in anonymous, or you can share it with the entire group. But I will either depending on the question, I will either answer the question then, or if it's a technical question, because I'll admit I'm not a technical person here, I will save that to the end of the webcast, and we'll go live, and I'll present those questions to Dana, and we'll try and answer those questions at the end of the webcast. So with that, I am going to turn over the meeting to Dana, and I'm going to let her get started. So just bear with us here just a second. Dana, I am switching it over to you, and it is now in your control.
All right, thank you. Well, welcome everyone, and I can see on my little control panel that you're seeing my screen, and as you can recognize, I'm in Civil 3D 2016, and I have the vehicle tracking ribbon pulled up, and that is how vehicle tracking integrates into Civil 3D software. It shows up as a ribbon, so that really helps you to just incorporate it automatically into your workflow. And Autodesk Vehicle Tracking is a comprehensive transportation analysis and design solution that integrates with AutoCAD and Bentley MicroStation software in order to predictably evaluate the movements of steered vehicles, light rail vehicles, and aircraft, and also to design parking lots and intersections. And so let me just start out by showing you the expansive library that you get with the software. Now, I'm not going to draw a swept path analysis for all of these, so don't worry. But right now I have a single unit truck picked, and I can just come in here and just dive right in and just start placing them in my drawing. And you can see that this pops up to kind of help you. And let me zoom in here because I want to show you that as you're steering your vehicle through here, do you see the turn percentage? That shows up nicely. And another thing I'd like to really point out that really sets this solution apart from some of the other swept path analysis softwares that I have used in the past is if I come up here to pick alignment, what that allows me to do is I can pick this line here. Now this is not even a Civil 3D alignment. This is a polyline. But I can pick that and it will line my vehicle up with that line. So I don't have to come in here and pre-plan any kind of special alignment or line for that matter. I can use the lines that are already in my design, and by pulling towards, I can easily put my vehicle in reverse. Pick this alignment again, because we're going to back this guy up into the loading dock here. Okay, so there's my swept path. What I can do here, I can insert a profile of the vehicle. You can see his dimensions and what that vehicle looks like. I can also insert a steering angle graph. And of course, I think what everyone wants to see is we can animate this. And we can animate them in 3D. Okay, and I can, there we go. Just set the camera angle there. Go ahead and start him. Let me speed him up just a little bit there. But you can see there's our vehicle driving through, and we can change it to the driver's eye view as he drives through here. And as you can see, I have it in a mirror view when he's reversing. So as the driver is backing up into the loading dock, you can, let me speed him up just a little bit more, you can see him backing up through the mirror view into the loading dock. And so you can see just how far away you are. Okay. And that camera view, that little animation there, you can record it as an AVI movie file, and that's helpful for any client or stakeholder or one of your subcontractors who does not have vehicle tracking. They can still view exactly what I just showed you. And we're not going to save this today, but you can see that that's available. Okay, so that's the swept path analysis in a nutshell. Another thing that vehicle tracking does is you can actually draw in the geometry of a parking lot. And so I'm going to come over here, and it's in the same ribbon. It's in the parking panel right here. And right now I'm going to draw in both bays, and you can pick large or small cars. let's just go ahead and dive in here. And right now, I'm just kind of roughly drawing them in, and then I'll come back and clean it up. And I can pick which side the bays will be on. There's that. As you can see, I can easily turn these straight lines into a curve. And just snap those to the nearest. So there's a rough layout of a parking lot right there. Let me put in another row. I want to show you something real quick. And I can also, I've got 90-degree angles. I can come in here and do 45-degree angles, normal or disabled parking stalls. Let me show you what that looks like. You can see this, this red circle in here, and that is allowing you to draw in both bays or, one side at a time. So you can see it draws in the symbols for accessible parking. It draws in the islands. You can also, that was a new row, I can do a parallel row. I can come over here and click on this, and you can see it places an additional row of parking at the correct dimension. Okay, that's a very rough layout. I just wanted to kind of show you what's available there. But you can then, let me come up here and do a parking report, and it counts out for you your parking spaces, and and we'll also break down accessible spaces versus normal spaces, and you can export that out into a CSV file. Okay. Another thing I wanted to show you, you can park a vehicle. Now, sorry, I got my properties box that keeps popping up. But as you can see, I just parked a vehicle. Now, just to warn you, it chooses the default vehicle, and that's easy to change. Let me come in here and go to a passenger car, make that the default. And then I'm going to come down here, park a vehicle. And with generated parking bays, all you have to do is click one of the lines, and it will automatically park a vehicle in there. So it parks at an angle, straight. So another very useful feature, I'm sorry. So right now I just showed you the basics of the swept path analysis, as well as the animation that it can do with that vehicle, with that swept path. Just a little bit of parking layout using new row as well as a parallel row. And let me begin to go into some of the different vehicles that you can use. What I have here is a drawing of the first floor of a warehouse, and you can see it has the roll-up doors here and the columns set up. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to get back in here into my library. Let's see here, and I have a few forklifts. Let me get back into that. I have a forklift set up, quite a few of them. And, just to kind of show you what we can do here, this is rather a large forklift, so I'm just going to kind of draw him in here. Oops, if I can line him up in the door correctly. And that's really the power of this software, is that while you're still in planning mode, you can, oh, see, look at that. You can easily see, okay, this design here, this particular model of forklift is way too large for this floor plan. So then early on in the design process, you can decide, okay, do we change our design, or do we just, just set a parameter for the size forklift that they need to use. And so here we come back with a much smaller forklift, and kind of wheel them around in here. And with practice, you can see I've never been a forklift operator. But, you can see, just the real power of this software is that early on in the design stage, you can use the swept path analysis and the expansive library to help you lay out your design. There is a vehicle wizard. I'm back in the vehicle library. This vehicle wizard, let's see, let's go ahead, and if you have a specific size of a forklift that you, it may be something custom, or something that is not in the library, I can go ahead and create. Okay. And I'm just throwing some numbers in here. Okay, turn on radius. But you can see just how quickly oops, see, I forgot something, so I have to go back. Body style, let's see, forklift truck. There we go. And so you can see just how quickly you can create your own custom vehicle for this software. Okay. And also, just to kind of show you something a little different, just to kind of expand your thinking when it comes to swept path analysis, because so often when we think of vehicle tracking, we think of roadways and parking lots and, just really outside, or, maybe that, showing this warehouse kind of expanded your thinking a little. But I also would like to bring in this drawing I have here of a car dealership. And you could, if you're designing a car dealership, you could use this software to help them lay out their lobby, for the just kind of the planning out of, there we go, bringing in the vehicles into the showroom floor. And as you can see, I brought in a few. There are some custom vehicle templates available through Autodesk, as I wanted to show you real quick. That was actually a BMW coupe that I drove in. There's some 3D presentation vehicles that are available when you're on subscription that you can bring in. And so we could also bring in a Jeep. Let's drive them in from over here. So, but I just wanted to kind of expand your thinking when it comes to vehicle tracking software, that and to really show you just some of the something else that comes with the library here. I actually have a car and boat trailer. Again, I just wanted to show you just some of the templates available to you. Okay, there we are. And as we drive him through here, so now our dealership, they're going to show off a car with a boat trailer. So you have to make sure that they can get it in here, bypass the desks. There we go. So again, I just wanted to show you just, just kind of expand your horizons and you're thinking when it comes to vehicle tracking and swept path analysis software. And this is all something that you can easily do with the Autodesk Vehicle Tracking. Of course, there's the swept path analysis that we all think of, designing roadways as well as parking lots. And you can also work inside your floor plan, inside your building design, not with warehouses and even something as a car dealership. I was watching one webinar similar to this where the gentleman presenting, he had a hospital layout and he had designed a vehicle in his library that was a gurney, and he steered that through the hospital hallways. Okay, so the sky, it's a lot of, the sky's the limit with this software. Okay, another thing I would like to show you that vehicle tracking can do is I can create a roundabout and also create a Civil 3D object from that. So I'm just going to come in here, create a new roundabout. Put him here. And it's asking me to select the lines to define the access roads. Okay. This is at the intersection of Main and First Street, so that's why I'm naming all of these what they would be in real life. Okay, there we are. Let me kind of zoom in here. You can see that it lays out your roundabout and gives you information on your start point, but also it lays out your street signs here. I can come in here and I can add a new crosswalk. Let's see, it gives you a dimension there. I can very quickly do that. And then what I want to do is come up here, go to Edit, and this is where I'm on the 3D corridor. If I select Create Alignments, it's going to create profiles as well as a corridor. And then minimal time there. And there you are. Let me open up my tool space, my prospector. I'm in this drawing. And as you can see, Autodesk Vehicle Tracking has created a roundabout as well as a Civil 3D corridor in just under, 30 seconds. And then this is a corridor. So then from here, I can expand these baselines, add regions. This is a working Civil 3D object, a corridor. Okay, well, that's it for my demonstration portion of the webinar, showing you roundabout generation as well as corridor generation in vehicle tracking. And I also showed you, let me go ahead and, I also showed you swept path analysis and parking lot generation. So with that, Mike, are there any questions?
Yeah, Dana, we do have a few questions, actually.
Okay.
So going back to the parking lot, there was actually a couple questions around this. When you're designing the parking lot, can you have standards set up to comply with local ordinances?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I have the Parking Standard Explorer that I'm going to bring up here. It comes standard with, you can see what it has here in the U.S. as well as other countries. But in the U.S., this is what it comes with. And then you can add a new parking standard file. So yes, you can easily bring in your own parking standards. that answer the question there?
I think so.
Okay,
I think
great,
so.
great, yes.
Couple more questions here. On roundabouts, a couple about
Yes.
roundabouts. There's
Mm-hmm.
one question is, can you add a slip lane to the roundabout? For example, a dedicated right turn lane.
Yes. Let me get in here. Vehicle tracking junction. Okay. Yeah, what I've done, I brought up the command, and you can see it has like a little viewing window here. Let's see here. North Main Street. Entry. You can add lanes here, as well as lane width. You can edit your lane width. As well as the exit, I can add a lane there. See if I can move that out of the way. So does that, hopefully that answers the question, but yes, by getting into, again, I went to the junctions panel right next to new roundabout. There's an icon for edit roundabout, and that open this up, and I can, just or I can go through here and add lanes, take away lanes, change. There's splitter radius, lane width, taper lane length. So there's a lot you can do. It's a very powerful and comprehensive software. There's a lot you can do.
What about another question about roundabouts? And you may have already kind of answered this, but the question was, how does the roundabout corridor interact with existing road corridors?
Yes, what you can do, again, let me bring up the tool space. If I come over here to Prospector, it creates a Civil 3D object, a corridor. And then from here, if I go into Properties, those of you out there that use corridors extensively, you recognize this. From here, I can add a baseline, I can add regions, and then to those new baselines and regions, I can add assemblies. So this is a fully functioning Civil 3D corridor. Create surfaces from it. So does that answer?
Okay.
Does that answer the question?
If there's any clarification needed, please go ahead and type that in the question box. Let me just go through a couple other questions real quick. One question that should be pretty quick. It's asking, what is your processor speed and RAM memory? I imagine that's probably a question maybe about system requirements as well.
Okay, yeah, and let me bring up the system requirements. I have a website that I can, and I apologize, I should not have closed that up, but because I was looking at that earlier, to be honest with you. Okay, vehicle tracking, I have a website here. This is this website is the Autodesk Knowledge Network, vehicle tracking system requirements. Okay, I'm on a 64-bit system, and so I'll just kind of let you go through, whoever wants to read through it here. It's pretty here's the list of operating systems it can work with. And one thing I wanted to point out, because I'm not sure who all is tuned into us today, but yes, Autodesk AutoCAD software will host vehicle, the vehicle tracking software. However, Bentley MicroStation does as well, as you can see. And so that's why this is a really good swept path analysis and corridor analyzation solution, not only for engineering firms and designers, but for government as well. Because as you can see, it runs on Autodesk and Bentley. So, but yeah, there's the system requirements there.
And I might add, just for anybody out there, at least it's always been kind of our standard procedure. It does say the minimum is 2 gigs of memory. I think we would always recommend the more memory you have, the better.
Yes,
and generally, if you're running Civil
minimum.
3D or something, you probably should have more memory than that anyways. So these specs are just minimum specs.
Yes.
The more memory, the better, for sure.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Now, what about generating a profile of the vehicle track to avoid high pointing on the vertical curve?
Okay, yes. I've got a drawing that is actually ready for that. Okay. I have a drawing here. Now, to do that, in this drawing, I have my surfaces. I've got existing ground as well as a corridor surface. Let me get back over to vehicle tracking here. And then I already have a swept path analysis laid out in here. And this particular vehicle, and we can look at it, and we can, it's a low boy. So yes, you want to be able to ensure that, you have the vertical ground conflict report. And you can see it kind of bring up what it brings, or what it's showing here. Minimum gap found between the body and the ground was 0.09 feet. And it's kind of, it throws in some hatching in there, but it's laying out areas where, okay, right here you have 0.18 feet and 0.09 feet. So that's the let's see, those are all my road profiles. And it lays out the profile over here. And that's for those two sections where there was, the 0.09 and the 0.08 clearance. So yes, you can as you can see, even very quickly and easily, you just, in your drawing, you need obviously you need your surface information, and then once you've drawn in your swept path analysis, then you can do a ground conflict report. Oh, one thing I meant to show, speaking of reports, and I'm back here in this parking lot, you can do a design check, and it will analyze not just your steering path, which as you can see, I'm not meant to be a truck driver. I have quite a few warnings there. But it also, there's a few other paths there. And then your parking lot information. Okay. So any other questions about some of the reports you can generate? And here, let me get back into this one here, because that's what the question was about.
I don't see anything necessarily about reports. I do have a couple more questions.
Sure, yeah.
Does vehicle tracking also allow for the creation of 3- and 4-way intersections, or do you still use the intersections function in Civil 3D?
Now, in the, you can do 3 or 4, because when I was creating the roundabout, remember how I was clicking through, it asked for, it asked me to click on the alignments for each road. I could have stopped it at 3. So you can do uh, um, an intersection with 3 roads driving into it as opposed to 4. And also, like, okay, let me get in here and delete a road. So yes, once you've drawn it in, you can customize it from there. Ooh, that was a little off the cuff, so it's I'll have to go back and redo my corridor. But you saw how quickly all of that, how quickly you can do all of that. Okay, any other questions?
Maybe a little bit of clarification. They said, but that would still be the roundabout. What about a standard intersection, meaning not a roundabout? Would you do that in vehicle tracking, or would you still just use the regular tools in Civil?
Okay, I'm understanding that. Yes, the regular intersection, my understanding is that that will be done in the Civil 3D.
Okay. Let me see another question. Will the software allow the insertion of various types of bike lanes along with the vehicle lanes? Is there a way we can add in a bike lane?
Yes, I think you can. Again, let me get in here to edit. If I come over here, let's see, add a 3rd lane, additional lane length. Oops, that's length. Here, let me. I'm just undoing right now to get, let me get back to that full roundabout. But yes, I believe what you can accomplish is through that edit, and you can add an additional lane. There we go. I just need to undo to get back to this. Okay. But yes, you can just add additional lanes in there and edit their width in order to show, a bike path in there. Any other questions?
Yeah, just one more right now. It looks like someone did ask, and this it sounds like it's somebody that already has the product. It said when they open the product now, the library only shows the vehicle they first picked, and they can't see the whole library now. So that may be a little bit more of a technical support question, but I didn't know if you could look at that real quick, or would they have to call and discuss that?
Let me get their information, and I'll either call them back or email them, or if they want to call me or call in, because I'm going to have to look into that. I haven't experienced that.
Okay.
But, and so rather than, kind of clicking around in here, but But yes, I can get back to them. See if we go to unlock.
Okay.
Just looking in here, I don't know if maybe it was unlocked, but I can get back to them. I would just have to look through it.
Okay.
So all their
I'll send
are
you over his name.
yes, and are they only seeing their default vehicle?
That I couldn't answer.
Yeah, if that person could answer that, that might help. Okay.
Okay. It looks like I don't see any. Oh, wait a minute. So the answer, he did respond and say yes. So sounds like he's just seeing the default.
Okay, good. That helps me to kind of pinpoint what's going on,
Okay.
and I can get back to them.
Okay. So for the person asking that question, I will pass your information over to Dana, and we'll get back to you on that. Last question that I see is how easy is it to bring in existing templates from another product like AutoTurn?
Okay, well, okay, so the vehicle library, I assume you're talking about. I'm just going to come up here, new library. Actually, I think for an existing, that's it, open library. A new one would be, custom creation in vehicle tracking, open library. As you can see, it's an ATL file is what you would bring in. And you can see I've created a custom library. And so yes, so from the other swept path analysis software, if you can export the library from that as an ATL file, as you can see here, you can then open that library in vehicle tracking. As you can see, that was called TPM. I've got that open here. I created a little front-end loader.
Okay, well, Dana, I think that's all the questions that I see. So,
okay, well, great.
So for everyone on the webcast, I do thank you for your time today. Please, if you think of any other further questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can either call Dana or you can call your sales rep, and we'll make sure we get the question answered. But with that, we're going to call it a wrap. And again, thank you, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Have a great day.